Here's everything you need to know about what's happening with Shout Factory. I got a lot of DMs, emails, and messages over the last few weeks about what's happening with Shout Factory, Shout Studios, shoutfactory.com, Scream Factory, all their different labels, and what was going on with their website. You probably noticed there were a ton of liquidation sales, a lot of stuff going, on sale for pretty decent prices from the Shout website. And then it came out the other day, the news that I kind of expected to happen, which was that Shout Factory is shutting down their website and moving all of their sales online over to GRUV.com. So I want to talk about all this, why it happened, what you can expect in the future from Shout Factory and from GRUV, and what to expect with these kind of consolidations and shifts in the industry. So first of all, let's talk about GRUV.com. If you don't know GRUV.com, one of the best places to buy physical media right now. It is a joint venture between Warner Brothers and Universal Studios. It sells all of their titles. It has free shipping, some pretty decent deals, and they've started to expand their catalog. They're basically just an online retailer for digital codes and for physical media. And so adding Shout Studios to their catalog makes a ton of sense. This has become a very popular site for people who still shop for physical media. What's happening on the Shout Studios side is that they got acquired. They have a parent company now, which is like a private equity company from what I understand. And this is pretty typical of what private equity does. They're going to strip down the business, take the most profitable parts. They laid off a bunch of people. It's really unfortunate, but this is what private equity does in the corporate world. I don't love it. I think it's kind of a cancer, but it's the reality of what they do. So part of that, to probably minimize costs and just streamline things, was to shut down the Shout Factory website, close down those Shout Factory warehouses or wherever they were storing all their titles, shut down their shipping department, shut down everything that came with running your own e-commerce store, and just simply give it to GRUV, who already has the, infrastructure in place to deal with that. So it's pretty purely just cost cutting, corporate cost cutting again, making the shareholders or whatever more valuable and more wealthy, and making the company look better on paper so that when they sell it to some other company, they make more money. It's very typical American corporate capitalism, and private equity it's why it kind of sucks, in my opinion. Now, there were a lot of fears about Shout just shutting down physical media for good. And those fears are unfounded, and there's no evidence to back that. Shout is still working on physical media releases, at least, through the next year and a half. I mean, they have a full schedule of stuff that they're working on. So while they did lay some people off, and it'll be interesting to see how much they output into the future, they're still creating physical media. That's still the core part of their business. While they do have Shout Factory TV, I think it's not a shift to streaming. It's an add-on to what they're already doing. So you can still expect to get a bunch of Shout Factory stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if it does start to slow down. And that's honestly where I see people like Kino Lorber, who has ramped up, especially in the world of 4K Blu-ray, taking on some of those titles that Shout might have had in the past. You can obviously see Arrow Video jumping in on this, and some of the indie labels like Terror Vision, some of these smaller labels that are out there that could jump on some of these titles that maybe Shout had, but now aren't going to be able to get released. It'll be interesting, especially in the kind of horror cult cinema world, which Shout tend to focus on, where all of that moves, if Shout keeps a lot of it or if they do scale back. Now, for consumers, this is probably not a bad thing, because one of my biggest complaints with Shout Factory's website was always that you had to spend like $75 to get free shipping. So when they have sales and you're getting things for $10 or $12 and, I want to pick up a couple titles, a lot of times I wouldn't buy from them because I don't want to pay $10 for shipping, and Amazon price matches the sale. So I would just buy it from them. I know it's not great, but I mean, we all got to save a few bucks, right? Them moving to GRUV, now everything that ships through GRUV.com is free shipping. So I don't know what the prices will look like. Right now there's a sale. I think it's 2 for $45 on Shout Factory, which isn't terrible. $22 a piece for some of their 4K collector's editions. But when you factor in free shipping, that might be cheaper than when they're $17 or $18 on the Shout website. So getting that free shipping, no matter how large the purchase is, I think that helps. GRUV has done a lot to improve their packaging. Their logistics have gotten a lot better. The infrastructure is better. They'll probably be able to turn around shipments a little bit quicker than Shout could on their own. When Shout had a sale, it would often take a long time to get shipments out because they're just a small operation. So yeah, I don't love that people lost their jobs. This probably will cut back the physical media output of Shout, but they're not abandoning it. but it is probably better in the long term for consumers to have this like physical media website, like an alternative to Amazon or an alternative to, what we used to have, Target, Best Buy, that is just focused on movies, that you can go there and know you're getting a good price and free shipping. So it's not the worst thing in the world, and I would not be surprised if GRUV starts to incorporate more of these boutique labels onto their site. Whether those labels continue to run their own websites or not, I think it's a natural progression of what GRUV.com is going to become, which is sort of this home hub for physical media. So at the end of the day, like, is it a good thing or a bad thing for collectors? Hard to say. Could we get less titles from one of my favorite labels, Shout Factory, Scream Factory? Potentially. Could the quality dip? Potentially. They laid off some good people who worked on this stuff. Could the artwork change? Could it look and feel cheaper? I mean, there are some things that we need to watch out for over the next, say year to 18 months as this shift starts to happen. On the back end of it, like, is it better for your wallet? Probably. The free shipping helps. GRUV will probably have a lot of good sales without having to run their own website. Maybe the Shout, Scream Factory titles can actually be priced, a little bit lower. Maybe they can knock a few bucks off of them. Again, something to watch over the next 12 to 18 months. But overall, like, it's not the end of the world. This was one of those things, whenever people hear about a shift coming, or especially a big player like Shout Factory, they get nervous. This is the end. This is the end of physical media. I think we're far from that. It's just a matter of corporate America doing its corporate America thing and laying people off in favor of more profits. It's the curse of infinite growth for shareholders. How do you get infinite growth? Well, you lay people off, you make things cheaper, you streamline your operation, and it's not great. It's a bit of a disease, the infinite growth thing. But, I think anybody who works in the corporate world gets it. We all live and play this game. So Shout Factory is just the latest player in this unfortunate game. But I have faith in GRUV and what they're doing. They'll be a good partner. It's an easy site to use. It's easy to sign up for. Good sales, good coupons every now and then, free shipping, and their packaging has improved quite a bit. So it's not the worst thing in the world. I just truly feel for the people out there who lost their jobs at no fault of their own, other than, some other people wanted to make more money. So that's what I've got on that one. If any more details come up, I will let you know, but it should be pretty status quo other than the move to GRUV, and it explains all the liquidation sales, not pointing to them shutting down a label, just consolidating their efforts. If you have any questions about it, let me know. I'll do my best to answer, or at least, give my opinions. Feel free to comment, email, DM me on social media, and make sure to subscribe here for all the latest on physical media. I'm also creating a lot of videos about movies and just stuff that I love. So if that interests you, subscribe, make sure to follow me on social media, and make sure you check out my new book, Lost in the Stream, which is available everywhere right now. So thank you all for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and stay healthy out there, and I'll talk to you soon.